Hello, DJ here again. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny, it doesn't cost you a cent, it doesn't even cost you a rupee. It's totally free. So please subscribe to my channel. Press the like button because these are swift, brief and straight to the point comments. You don't have to wade through loads and loads of waffle. I go straight into it. So if you like that, then do like it. And what I want to talk about is something that was sent to me by the NSPCC. That's the National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children. And they've created a first aid kit. Now, I was head of the first aid unit in St John Ambulance for some time in the district in Kidderminster. And it's not a first aid kit, I assure you. But they call it a first aid kit. So I want to tell you about it. You know, one of the saddest things happening in Britain today, and I must say there are many sad things happening in Britain today, but this one is illustrated by the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, which is for short NSPCC. Now, they did a report that half of all cases for counselling referred to the NSPCC in January 2025. So we're talking about just the month of January 2025. So it's not that long ago. Half the cases that referred to them was on the mental education and health and well-being of young people, young children. The report points out that the warning sign of mental health are being seen in cases such as, now get this, sudden behaviour and mood changes, unexplained physical changes such as weight loss or weight gain, self-harming, sudden academic loss, suddenly they are not as good at school as they were before because of lost interest perhaps, loss or poor sleeping and changes in social habits and withdrawing from and avoidance of people, even avoidance of parents, and withdrawing. The NSPCC, National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children, have developed a mental first aid kit, that's what I told you this called it, which includes a plan of what the sufferer can do for themselves, such as where to go for help and support, breathing techniques and important contact numbers. Now, a first aid kit, we've always trained our cadets in first aid and our first responders. I was a first responder, so I'm highly qualified in first aid. And we used to teach them that self-help came first. First aid was when someone else did it. So straight away I've got problems with the idea of calling to first aid. But, I'm not going to be sort of pedantic on this. So let's see. So I'll repeat what they said. It's where their first aid kit tells them, the youngsters who are suffering this mental dysfunction, that where to go for help and support. Breathing techniques. You're hyperventilating and you say, take a deep breath, calm your breathing down, settle it down, and important contact numbers to contact. Now, I must say, most people, youngsters that are suffering from a mental problem, they deny it. They don't realise they've got a mental problem and they don't want contact numbers. They're not going to use them in many cases. So the actions listed as active listening, this is for helpers, for the NSPCC. They encourage their members to do these sort of things. So actions are listed as active listening. Listen to people, listen, don't interrupt, don't put your point of view in straight away, listen to what they're saying. That's a normal thing to do. I used to be an industrial manager and and I listened to what the complaints were. I listened to the problems. I listened to ideas, and put them into practice if they were useful. Encourage them, sort of to help themselves to behave better, to think in a different direction. Being supportive, well, again, it's an industrial thing, isn't it? Sort of workers have a problem and you listen to them, you encourage them and you support them in the actions that have been decided between yourselves. Do not be dismissive. One of the problems with the older generation is they dismiss the problems that children and young people are experiencing because we think, well, we went through it, we didn't make any fuss of it, and we dismiss them, and it's not the right thing to do. But I feel that what they're saying here is pushing it a bit too much. You cannot sort of pander to them, to people who've got these supposed mental problems. You can't pander to them. This is the same as that girl in the school, that decided she was a cat and answered the teacher, meow. You can't, the teacher pandered to it. No good. The parents were pandered to it as well. And I thought, well, in that case, if my daughter had come home and started thinking she was a cat, I'd have put her food on the floor and said, there you are, it's over there. And I would, as it got darker, not too much, but as it got darker, I'd say, okay, it's time for the cat to go out, and push her outside. She'd soon come away from, I'm not a cat, why am I outside in the dark? But that is sort of my attitude to these nonsense going through. I mean, boys don't think of themselves as cats. There's a boy who thought he was a dinosaur. There was 3 or 4 boys, I believe, who thought they were stallions. They're masculine things, and so that's what they think they're going to be. Where the female children, they say, oh, I'm a pussycat. It's obviously nonsense. Start treating them like that. Put them outside. Oh, I'm going to the toilet. Well, toilet's outside. You're a dog, outside. You're a stallion, outside. Boy thinks I'm a stallion, give him some hay. Eat that. They'll soon realise they're not. But anyway, I've gone off the point a bit, haven't I? And I would like your comments on my comments. It's nice to receive the back and forwards of comments. So please don't feel embarrassed. Please do comment if you feel it's going to be like that. Okay, so what was I saying? So the listening, encouragement, being supportive, do not be dismissive, and do not devalue the children's thinking. Sometimes you have to. As I say, if a young girl thinks she's a cat, she's 13, and like this one was, and she thinks she's a cat, be dismissive. You cannot positively, oh, are you? Okay. But still feed her, still allow her to use the bathroom, still dress her, put a collar on her neck, lead her around. Let them think, if they want to believe that they are an animal, treat them as an animal. Within reason, of course. I'm being provocative, but I'm hoping you will follow what I'm saying. Okay, so I feel I must point out that when I was growing up, these traits described, such as behaviour and mood changes in children, were looked upon as a change in hormones. As the child progressed from childhood to youth, puberty played a large role in these mood changes, weight gain and weight loss. They were put down to changes in the body that puberty brought about. Changes in the social habits came about because boys and girls became aware of the opposite sex within a different mindset. For some, the changes in the body and mindset brought about an avoidance and withdrawal syndrome. And of course, as I grew up as a teenager many years ago now, I'm 75, but when I was growing up as a teenager, well, I remember my mother used to bathe me, put me in the bath, wash me down, and I got to 9 years of age, and I said, Mother, I'm too old. I want to have privacy when I'm naked. I want to have privacy when I'm washing. And she accepted it. Now, that wasn't a mood change in as such as, my mind was mentally now subnormal or deficient. No, it was a factor of growing up. And you played, as a boy, I played with the boys. And as I grew older, I preferred the girls. It's natural. It's not a mood change that we have to worry about. It's part of growing up. And there's too much made of these things. What do you think? Comments? Yeah. So what about, let's see. So what about poor sleeping? They said that these changes affected poor sleeping. Now, I must say that I believe much of this is attributed to the fact that children and youth are on their mobile telephones and computer games. Much too much. And the positive energy, electricity, energy and radiation from these games, consoles and mobile telephones up on the ear, there's been lots of scientific information on this. The energy is a positive energy and it affects your sleeping patterns because you're only getting the positive energy right into your head. The children are no longer enjoying outdoor activities. And so they lack the input of negative energy, which any medical staff can tell you interferes with sleep. And the loss of sleep, the loss of the deep restorative sleep, you can doze off. That's not restorative. It has to be a deep sleep. You go through different phases of sleep until you get down to the deep sleep, which is the restorative. So when you've had restorative sleep, you wake up and you are full of energy again, ready to face the next day. And you need the negative energy from the earth. Do you know, running in the grass, barefoot if possible, is a great negative energy restorative. But playing outside with the sunlight, radiation from the sun, it's not dangerous. It is a positive. We need the D3 that's from the sunshine. And it will give us the negative energy that will counteract the positive energy. And because there's too much positive energy being generated into the children's heads by the mobile phone on their ears, and you see them, they come out of school, and I've seen children walk across the road and they go down, they're not looking. They could easily get knocked over, because they're not looking. They're on the phone immediately. And I'm thinking, I asked a young girl, and I said, who are you ringing? She's my friend. I said, oh, doesn't she go to your school? She said, yes, I've just left her. There is no need to be on the phone talking to your friend that you've just said goodbye to. But they do. And it's the negative energy and the positive energy that's going into their heads that's affecting their sleep patterns. But, am I ranting? Probably. So what are we left with? Yes, self-harming. Now, obviously, self-harming is a dangerous situation, and I would believe that is a mental problem. It's a psychological problem, and psychological problems will need professional help, because the professional will be able to get to the bottom of what's happened. What is the psychological blockage that's causing self-harm? And they will be able to, over several weeks, I suppose, sitting down quietly, talking and getting the child to regress till they find out what is a psychological problem that's affected their mental state that they wish to self-harm. So that one, I agree, needs to be looked at. But the rest, I think, pandering to some of these things that they've got, they're putting down as half the cases they've received in 2025, January 2025, are not true cases. But parents have given up on parenting their children. It's a fact. Parents have given up being proper parents to their children, and they've got to get back. How do we get them back? Well, I think we've gone past it, and unless there's a complete, from the government and from psychologists and from the medical profession and the industrial profession, everybody joining together to get us back on the right track. And they don't seem willing to do so. But, you listening to me and discussing it, you could be getting on the right track that we need to get right on. So at least your children and your children's children and your relatives' children could have a chance of getting back the mental health and the mental fortitude that they need. So get them playing on the grass. Get them. I mean, there's loads of games, isn't there? They can play tennis, they can play football, they can play volleyball, netball on the grass. They can go running. I wasn't that good at sports, but I was a brilliant runner. Brilliant. I was a decent runner, sort of cross country, middle distance. Not many people could keep up with me. So it grounded me. And although it's negative energy is the grounding energy, and you get grounding energy from a 3-pin plug in Britain, in UK, the large pin is negative, and it's the earth, and so grounding, and we need it. It's part of our being. So they should be out. They should be outside. The also thing I'd like to mention is positive. He said, be supportive, be positive, encourage. And I thought, well, when I was involved in youngsters, as a youngster, not with youngsters, but as a youngster, helping the disabled and helping the elderly, helping the neighbour, helping your parents, do some gardening, but helping people gives a great service to those people in need, but it's a great service to yourselves. It's a tremendous health-giving boost to be helping people and someone say, thank you very much, I couldn't have coped without you. That is a boost to your morale. It's a boost to your ego. And if you've got good morale and you've got a good ego, you're not going to be mentally dysfunctional. So that's my comment. It's the longest one I think I've done recently. But please comment. But please subscribe, because I only can do these if you're subscribing. And it doesn't cost you a penny, doesn't cost you a cent, doesn't even cost you a rupee. It's totally free. And if you like these short posts, press the like button, please. It helps me a lot. So until the next one, bye for now.